one of the challenge we manage is to manage the headlines of the paper with our clients, and they sometimes tend to worry, and that is the moment they forget about their long-term everything. If something is bad coming up, how do I secure my investments? So can a mutual fund go bankrupt? Has that ever happened in your 30 years of journey there? And because now it's a time of banking bankruptcies in US started somewhere small, and now there we are all extrapolating it in India. So let me.
I think fair question, but fortunately the answer today is no. I don't think a mutual fund can go bankrupt. I'll give you a bit of history also. The only incident in the mutual fund industry where I think a mutual fund came close to going bankrupt, and I'm keeping aside the UTI US 64 issue, that was not really a mutual fund issue, it was a different animal. So I'm talking about the mutual fund framework. There's been only one instance which would come close to this, which the old timers may again remember. There was the CRB scam in the 90s, 95, 96 time. There was this gentleman called CR Bansali who set up CRB Capital Markets. NBFC raised a lot of money. Then, he started a mutual fund called CRB Mutual Fund that had, I remember their scheme was called Arihant Mangal or something, in 96. Raised 230 crores, which was quite good for that time. Later on, it turned out that 224 crores were put by the sponsor only, the promoter only. 6 crores was raised from the public. But what was happening was that apparently this gentleman had borrowed money. To repay that money, he was again borrowing, and he did this mutual fund thing. He put in his own money. That money was again invested in his own companies. He had some 133 group companies. Effectively, all that money disappeared, right? But the learning from that episode has been phenomenal for the mutual fund industry. I think subsequently, SEBI has put in place a structure and regulations which will ensure that this kind of thing will never happen in Indian mutual fund industry. You see, I'll tell you why I am saying this. One, so there is an asset management company or structure. So the role of the asset management company is to manage the assets of the mutual fund. So mutual fund itself is a separate legal entity, right? So the AMC is not the mutual fund. Technically, if you say, I am the CEO of Union Asset Management Company, I am not the CEO of Union Mutual Fund. Although, in normal language, we equate both. Then mutual fund is set up as a trust, and the main responsibility for protecting that trust is with another entity called trustee. So our mutual fund, there is another company called Union Trustee Company. Now that has a different board, different set of directors, etc. So while the asset management company will be interested in growing the business and looking at the profits, etc., the job of the trustee company is only to make sure that the interest of the investors are protected. Regulations are followed. They look at governance, compliance, etc. Now, the assets of the mutual fund, each scheme is kept separately, legally segregated with the custodian, right? So we have custodians like, we use SBISG, there is old is Stockholding Corporation, and many other banks such as HSBC, Axis, they are all custodians. So the assets are not with the AMC. So as the AMC, I don't have access to the assets. We cannot run away with the assets. Assets are with the mutual fund, and they are with the custodian, who is completely independent, right? So there is a trustee company, there is a custodian, and there are restrictions on investing in your own group companies. There are restrictions on investing in a single company. Like, no mutual fund scheme can invest more than 10% of its assets in a single company, right? So you cannot, keep on giving money to your own group companies, etc. That is not possible. And nobody else has access to the assets of the scheme. So there's a lot more. So given today's regulatory structure, I would say it's not only next to impossible, I think it's actually impossible that a mutual fund can go bust. Your NAV may go down. That's a different issue, right? If the fund manager doesn't manage the assets well, the value of the scheme can go down. But that money is still your money, right? Nobody can run away with it. Nothing will go bust. That's very clear.